Many people are saying to leaders that the world has changed and we face continuing uncertain times. And most of those leaders are saying, well, tell me something I don't know. Like, how am I to move my business and people forward? Welcome to this BVTV Trilogy, coming to you from the UK Studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. Now, today, in my global search to find you the best of solutions to our altered world challenges, I'm taking you to sunny Portugal to meet the world's leading expert on self-leadership and the author of the new Leadership Playbook. Welcome, Andrew Bryant. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Malcolm. Good to see you.
Listen, I just love the part of Portugal that you live in. Go on, give us a very quick travel log.
So, well, I'm British by birth, but now living in Portugal. I live in a little place called Magoito. It's a little country town, but it's on the beach, beautiful surf beach, just north of Sintra, where the most beautiful, colorful palace is, where the royal family used to go for summer, 40 minutes from Lisbon. So I've got my little slice of paradise. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I bet you're brilliant at Fado at the night time. Andrew, I want to really maximize the time I have with you and your expertise. So in episode 1, can I ask you to briefly take us through your framework of the new leadership model and what it can do for those who apply it?
Fantastic. Well, let's just take a step back in terms of why we need a leadership framework. So much of leadership advice on social media, in books, is very prescriptive. Leaders must be like this. Leaders must do this. And in fact, the list of traits that leaders must have is so long, it might as well, in my opinion, include can walk on water. And yes. I think that's a little intimidating. So when I wrote this book, and I wrote it specifically for one of my clients, I wanted to create a framework that was an easy diagnostic for leaders to say, if I'm not getting results, what do I need to look at? And that framework is very simple. Expectations times mindset and motivation times right behaviors equals results. So it starts with expectations. If we're not getting results from our people as a leader, the first place to look is in the mirror. Did I set clear expectations? Because it might have been clear in my head what I wanted them to do, how I wanted them to do it, the results I wanted to get. But if I didn't communicate that, and communication needs a feedback loop, right? I need to have communicated, I need to check they understood. That's where 90% of the problems happen. You know, look at project management. You know, the expectations not set up front, it's going to run over cost and over time.
Yeah.
So the next multiplier is really mindset. Do people have buy-in? You know, have we explained the why this is important? Because if people don't have buy-in, they're never going to give it their 100%. And motivation always is intrinsic. Now, I know there are external motivators like pay, etc., but really human beings have to have a sense of, if I put in the effort, will I increase my performance and will I be rewarded, acknowledged, validated for that? And so as leaders, we need to set up our expectations and make sure we get the buy-in that people say, I can contribute to this. Now, Simon Sinek, of course, got very famous with his start with why, and you could plug that into that section, that people need to know, why is this important for the company? Why is it important for me? Why is it important for the world? Et cetera, et cetera. And the last multiplier.
I just want to quickly jump in a second there, Andrew, if you don't mind.
Knock yourself out.
For the person to understand the why, though, surely the leader that's conveying that has got to understand the person, and as to how they will motivate.
Very, very important. Thanks for picking up on this. So mindset is understanding that a frame of mind, you know, drives and directs our behavior. So the excellent leader, or the effective leader, is connecting what's important to the individual to what's important to the team or the organization or the outcome. And so, you know, look, a simple story. You know, I had a girlfriend many years ago who was an introvert but worked in a sales office. She was actually the best salesperson. But the manager, being an extrovert, had a bell screwed to the wall. Every time you made a sale, you were supposed to go up, ring the bell on the wall. My girlfriend hated ringing that bell. But one day, she'd made some sales. He discovered that she'd made the sales. He physically dragged her to the wall and made her ring the bell. She resigned the next day. Yeah. So, this is a great example of not understanding the motivation for your individual. That's an extreme story. So, mindset and motivation is the skill of leaders to understand what's important to their people and connect that to what's important to the organization.
Yeah, gotcha. Right. So we're in the leadership model. We've done one. Just take us back through that again.
So set expectations. Consider mindset and motivation, so that we've talked about the buy-in in terms of what's important to individuals, so that they have a sense of ownership to that. It's no good delegating something to somebody if they don't feel a level of ownership and empowerment. And this is key to my previous work. I published in 2012 the textbook on self-leadership, and that's all about ownership and responsibility. And your opening framing is, the world has changed. And everybody's had an increased dose of ownership and autonomy and responsibility working from home, having to manage their own time.
Yes.
And so actually we need to do this even better today, because you can't suddenly say, well, come back to the office and I'm going to tell you what to do, after 2 years of people having to managing themselves, take ownership of their own time. People want much more buy-in now. Am I barking up the right tree for you there?
No, I'm totally with you, because when I've done over 700 of these since March 2020, and I first talking to CEOs who wouldn't come onto Zoom without a PA on one side and a techie person on the other, and they just could not communicate clearly because they were so used to sending emails, and just blurging that out. And so the clarity to people, especially working hybrid, was poor.
Oh, it was shocking. And there's one CEO that's mentioned in the book that I was coaching, and right at the beginning of the pandemic, he was figuratively in the fetal position because his runway for the year had been blown up, and he put all the energy, metaphorically, getting the plane fueled on the runway, ready to take off. This was going to be his year. This was going to be his breakthrough, and his plans were blown up, and he was taking it personally. And I had to say, look, you're the CEO. You're coming to us from a beautiful house in Napa Valley. What about your people? If you're struggling, what about them? And that's it. Focus on your people.
Focus on your people. Got it. Thanks, Andrew. Now let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL, your website address, which obviously viewers you can see on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me spell it out to you. It's all the W's dot selfleadership.com. Selfleadership.com. Andrew's book is called The New Leadership Playbook, and it's published by Ocean Reeve Publishing. As you just heard, Andrew's website is selfleadership.com. But what is self-leadership, and how will it help in today's challenging leadership roles? So can we tackle that in episode 2, please, Andrew?
Absolutely. Your wish is my command, Malcolm.